We are here with James Flippin' White. Oh my gosh.
Long time coming.
Oh my gosh, the goblins have grown up. I can't believe we're here with James White in New Zealand. Thank you so much for coming with us. Oh, I don't even know what to do here right now.
Thank you so much for coming all the way down to New Zealand.
It's such a beautiful
epic
place.
Adventure.
Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful place. Literally playing the game, seeing the world. We're so grateful for this trip.
All right, for the heavy hitters, who was your money on being the best in the arena?
If this was a real life fight and you had to put your money on someone, who's it going to be?
Well, the brutes are animals, right?
They
got that killer instinct. You know, they live by the mantra of strength rules all. You know, only the strongest survive. So they're looking pretty fierce. But Kasai's got determination. She's got something burning inside that she needs to put right. So you know, it's kind of like will versus brute strength.
Yeah. Passion's hard to snuff out though, right?
It is. Victor's, you know, he's got a lot of money and he's bribed a lot of people, so there's some things stacked in his favor. And you know, Betsy, she just throws them biggies. She throws them big punches. So I mean, I think there's of course Olympia. He's a professional, professional fighter. So. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick one. I don't want to bias any opinions around the world.
We tried, guys. I'm sorry.
Qualities, you know, they've all got qualities.
Everybody that got invited had a chance to design a card if they won.
Yep.
So is that something you guys are maybe interested in doing for like World Championship, or is that something you're going to try and keep more in the wide range of celebrational events?
I think it's something that's special to preserve for that celebrational type event. Yeah.
That's so awesome. What a cool feeling just to be able to literally put your face in Fab. Like, wow, so
How
cool.
would you even think about what kind of card or what the text would be? I was like, I'm so glad that we didn't get invited because I would have failed that miserably.
Well, there's some wacky stuff that came through on the card submissions, and it's going to take a bit of massaging out of some of those effects to get them.
We love your idea, but let's make this playable.
Yeah, it's kind of the conversation goes along. What's your intent with this? You know, and then we'll take that and we'll try and turn it into something printable.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have seen this beautiful playmat all over Twitter. We've even seen it in person now. And what are the cultural references and reference that? And can you tell us a little bit about that guy in the boat?
Sure. So the playmat was hand drawn by the incredible MJ Fatizio, our lead concept artist at Legend Story Studios. And it's a very special playmat to commemorate the celebrational and you know, all things New Zealand in it. So lots of Kiwiana hidden in it. The guy in the boat that you've mentioned is a reference to Maui. So in New Zealand,
you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. Yeah. In New Zealand mythology, like all kids growing up in New Zealand read all of the Maui myths and legends, and one of the stories is he actually fishes up New Zealand. So
what?
Yeah. So if you look at the shape of the North Island, it kind of looks like a stingray.
Oh.
Yeah, which I know is something very special to
It is, yes.
the stingray, with the top of the North Island being the tail, and then it kind of like the tail, and it comes out to the wings and down to the head where, you know, Wellington is the base of the North Island. And so that guy in the boat is Maui with his fish hook fishing up the North Island, the stingray. The South Island is said to be his canoe, his waka. Yeah, his waka.
Oh, because
That is
he's
so
supposed
cool.
To be he's such a large person.
Yeah.
He needs a big old boat.
So
Oh my
cool.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're gonna have to read up on that mythology for sure.
Yeah,
Just
it's
watch
incredible
Moana.
stories. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all.
It's always been interesting to me because I've always loved card games, but I have no idea how the background works. So can you kind of explain like the creative process and like how far ahead are you guys when you're creating cards to when we're seeing them? What's that timeline kind of look like in the whole process?
Yeah, sure. So there's long lead times in this industry, and so right now I'm working on design for products that'll come out in 2025.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Wow.
So it goes through a number of phases. It starts with design, and then it passes through to the development of the actual product. Then it goes through to the creative team to create all of the art and get it ready for actual manufacturing through the supply chain out to the stores for release, and then it sort of concludes with organized play seasons related to that product.
Wow.
So as an example, our development team is very close to finishing up the product that comes out in late September this year. So that they're very tail end of that pipeline, and they'll very soon be starting on the big booster set that comes out in Q1 of 2025. So it's kind of the timeline.
That's crazy. So with that being in mind, now that you guys have kind of stepped back a little bit from the supplemental sets, does that give you guys that expansion slot that you've now included? Does that kind of allow you to emergency throw cards in, or is it the lead time so great that it really doesn't lend itself to be like a quick fix kind of a thing?
So expansion slot definitely gives us flexibility to be more nimble in terms of maybe getting new content in to recalibrate the metagame. It's probably, I wouldn't say it's like emergency to get things in, but it might be, I think the new Luminaris is a good example, right, where, we made Dust Till Dawn, we created the new Prism, which was a really big deal for fans and for us alike. And
so
was
beautiful.
very
oh
dear
God.
to me.
Yes.
And we had very high expectations for the performance of that hero. The weapon was just falling short of the power level that it needed to actually get those sort of performance results that we were expecting and intending. And expansion slot gave us that flexibility to actually, we need to address this, and we put the second Luminaris into the heavy hitters expansion slot. But in general, sort of the expansion slots, like you referenced, are kind of a replacement for the supplementary sets, because they provided an important pathway for us to get new content in for all 10 of the classes, right? And now we've moved away from that, and every set is draftable. We'd no longer have that available to us. So expansion slot is very important for us to be able to continue providing new content for all of the classes that exist. I think that, look, we're pretty pleased with how it's come about. I can say that we are really moving. The next set that comes out, all of the expansion slot cards are actually a lot more deliberate in what they're supposed to be. So I'll be honest, there's been some expansion slot fluff, so far with Bright Lights and even some of the heavy hitters cards. There's some
11 cards. You have 40
awesome
seconds.
cards, but there's some, not so cool cards as well. Going forward, I think that you'll start to see the expansion slot cards typically being like you'll see them and you'll be like, yep, I understand what I'm supposed to do with that. It's going in this particular deck. It opens up this new strategy, and actually being like quite a lot more pointed and potent in what they're doing.
We're getting the log. Betsy's gonna get the log. I know it. We want the log.
No, there's a lot of demand for the log. Yeah. Sitting on the shelf next to the rock.
Oh, the rock. We never did pull a rock.
It's on our to-do list. We know there's a lot of love out there for rock.
We love rock.
Yeah.
I heard a secret about you and rock, but we'll get to that later. So how do you choose artists or find artists, and do they have like very strict rules and guidelines they have to follow, or do you kind of give them freedom to go about?
That's a really good question. So I mean, that is really entirely on my co-founder Robbie Wen, our creative director. He runs all of the art pipeline and the relationships with all of the artists, but we get a lot of artists, hundreds of artists contacting us wanting to draw for the game. Now that we're very well known around the world, and we really appreciate all of our artists tremendously. So just exceptional talent, and it's world-leading artists creating the beautiful heroes and cards in the game. But look, there's obviously high expectations on the artists, and they have to sign the agreements that lays out the expectations and all of that stuff. But the artists work very hard. They push very hard as well. Robbie pushes them really hard. Like a typical piece of art would take 4 to 6 weeks to go from start of commission to completion, and many rounds of iteration. I'm lucky that I get to sit in most of the channels that the art is getting produced and see the evolution of them. And infrequently I'll chip in and maybe provide a suggestion to Robbie to consider that he'll then, if he agrees with it, we'll take it back to the artist. But majoritively it's Robbie, MJ, Sam running that whole process. Yeah.
And they've just done amazing work with the art itself, from what we've seen, what has come out is just beautiful.
So they work so hard. Yeah, all of our internal team and the artists, they work really hard to create these pieces of art.
So what is the likelihood that we see something in art that is just coincidental and actually no, this is supposed to be here? Like, we just got the first Goblin and Wraith. I know you're excited about that, right? Because it's the best, the best, you know.
The
we
payoff,
could
hey.
possibly-
Yeah. I knew you'd like that one.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I was like, there's a Goblins and Wraith now.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
an accident.
Yeah.
We are officially have Goblins and Wraith.
Yeah, like none of this stuff
Fantastic.
happens by accident. Like Robbie in particular, he is very, very detail orientated.
I
So
will now
nothing
be
gets
giving
past him.
5 seconds
If he didn't want to have a
warnings.
Goblin and Wraith, that would have been
Pick up
flushed
the
out.
back of
But it got the Robbie, seal of approval.
Yes!
So it's canon now.
Fantastic. So that kind of leads us into
He's so excited.
yeah. Oh God. Oh, thanks, James. Okay, I think I'm back. Okay, so speaking of the art design, we've seen some things that I don't know if they're coincidence, which you said it may not be, but so like we had a art commissioned that was Oasis Respite, and we found Cathedral Cove is almost identical to that that art. So I wasn't sure if that was a coincidence. And then I was also told that Cornet Peak is a flipping mountain right here, and I had no idea.
Okay, so I got some good news and some bad news for you.
Okay.
The Oasis Respite, I think that is a coincidence. Sorry to let you
Wow.
down. I think it is.
It's so crazy. We're gonna put the art up right here. You guys decide.
Yeah. Cornet Peak is deliberate though. It's
Okay.
absolutely homage to the very iconic mountain. Just like literally 30 minutes drive from where we are right now.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you probably seen signs as you were driving in from
Yeah,
the airport
I've-
being like Coronet Peak that way.
Yeah, I've only actually seen one postcard. I've been trying to find it so I could, reference it. Be like, guys, this is a flipping mountaintop that you can go ski down.
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
it was so crazy to me that was.
Yeah, I think it's like the #1 ski field in New Zealand. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So
that
then-
was intentional for real. I think that one of the playmats this weekend is Coronet Peak.
It is,
something
yeah.
that's going on,
Yeah,
right?
that's why we were told about it. They're like, hey, do you know this? Why they're
Yeah.
giving out Cornet Peak this weekend? And I'm like, no. They're like, because it's a mountain right here in Queenstown. I'm
Yeah.
like, no way. That's so cool.
I
Yes,
have
but-
so many conspiracy theories about this game. You want me to do the Easter egg question? All right. Bet.
I don't have a good answer for you on Easter eggs, though, to be honest. We need to get you connected with our creative team to ask some of these questions. They put all these Easter eggs in that they don't even tell me about.
That's funny.
To be honest.
So now there is
They like playing games like this.
I
There
like
is,
them. I like them a lot now.
there is one thing that we were told
Oh,
by a
yes.
special someone to ask about because they really wanted to bring it to light. We were told that Stony Wootenhog
Yeah.
has a special importance. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Stony Wootenhog is in memory of a gentleman called Tony Wooten.
Okay.
Tony Wooten was a tournament organizer in New Zealand for Magic.
Okay.
And he was playing Magic since like the beginning. Like myself and,
Okay.
and a lot of my core friends and some of the people at LSS, my other co-founder Chris Pierce, who I met actually at the very first Magic National Championship in 1995, I think it was. Yeah, we played against each other, and 25 years later, whenever we made Legends Story Studios. But Tony Wooten, he was a gentleman who lived in Hamilton in Waikato, Central North Island, and he contributed a hell of a lot to the New Zealand TCG community. He used to travel around to all of the events with the PDQs back in the day, and every pretty much every significant Magic tournament you'd always bump into Tony Wooten, and
That's
it
so
would always
cool.
be great to see him. And he was just he had a big heart and a big love for
That's so
TCGs.
awesome.
Sadly, he passed away slightly before Flesh and Blood released.
Wow.
And made
What a
that card
beautiful
just
homage. That
Yeah.
is so beautiful.
yeah. So okay, it's one of the recent.
Okay, woohoo! We dragged
He-
it out of him. We grabbed it out of
He
him.
loved warthogs.
Uh-huh.
He collected. There's a Magic card called Warthog or something
Okay.
Warthog, and he collected all. So myself and my friend Gene Bromby, who's actually here today. I'm supposed to be playing the teams with him.
Okay.
After this at the Battle Harden.
Uh-huh.
We used to collect up all of the warthogs, and whenever we would bump into him at these tournaments, we'd be like, "Hey Tony, here's another, 150
That's
warthogs."
so
And
awesome.
he had literally thousands and thousands and thousands of these warthogs. He loved TCG so much he named his daughter Sarah after Sarah Angel.
Oh,
Like
wow.
he was like
That's
really
beautiful.
deep into TCGs. But anyway, he loved warthogs. He used to call himself Wooden Daddy or Wooden Hog. Where he had like all of these like all of these references to warthogs and all these nicknames related to warhogs. So that's why he's riding the hog on
Okay.
the card. Yeah,
That's so
riding
cool.
the pig.
What a cool
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is fantastic.
yeah. No one outside of New Zealand will know who the hell this reference was about. But when Mono came out, there were a few people that was like, "Oh, is that for Tony Wood?" And so yeah, that's the
beautiful.
story.
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Awesome. So we know that you have a very deep past in the TCG industry. But was there a catalyst that spurred you into starting
Time.
LSS and Flesh
Please
and Blood?
return your face
Oh,
to
absolutely.
a
It was
slow face down
taking
fire.
action to preserve the culture. When I was a younger fella, teenager, I used to travel around New Zealand non-stop playing Magic. Me and my buddies, going on road trips, jumping on trains, playing sometimes, boats, whatever. Like we just go to all of the Magic tournaments that we possibly could, and it very much was play the game, see the world for me as a young fella. Mostly play the game, see my country, but on occasion we'd get to go overseas and.
Cool.
That's how I forged my circle of friends that span New Zealand, and then eventually, I started to travel and make international friends, and it was through those adventures that I got to really open my eyes, open my mind to the beauty of the world and the opportunities that exist, in the world, and I think it was critical for me. I grew up in a very small town, very small, like 50,000 people lived in the town where I grew up in Napier, and so a very small town, and like Magic was this catalyst that got me out of Napier, traveling around, and really making me aware that there was more to the world than what I was kind of like in front of me growing up in this small town.
10 seconds.
And you hear me talk about it all the time these days, like play the game, see the world. And like I didn't make up that saying, and I didn't invent the concept, but the thing that I did is take action to preserve the culture, because I think that the industry was moving towards a place where that culture was starting to dissipate. Other publishers were moving more online and pulling back on programs. And I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me was when the national championship program for Magic was cancelled. It was 2012 was maybe the last one. And as someone living in New Zealand, like the small, country, small market at the bottom of the world, Nationals was like the one thing that we had to look forward to each year. We didn't get Pro Tours. We seldom got Grand Prix. In the 30 years that Magic's been around, I think New Zealand's had two Grand Prix. So it's like Nationals was the one thing that we had to look forward to, and when that was gone, it was just like, well, what is there to even look forward to anymore? And that was kind of like the moment. It's like I want to try and do something instead of whining about it, instead of whinging about it. I want to try and do something to preserve that culture so that the next generation of young people had that opportunity to play the game and see the world. And that's very much what pushed me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, to go and have a go, give it a.
Well, it's working because we're in New Zealand from Florida, and we've been all over the United States just because of you. So thank you for this game, and we're traveling and seeing the world because of your game. So it worked.
Yeah.
I will say some of the people look at us a little crazy. They're like, "You're going to New Zealand for a card game?" Absolutely, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Because it's it's about more than the card game itself, right? It's about all of the things that sit outside of the game. It's the road trips, the adventures, the friendships, the drinking, the dinners, the
memories that
the
you're
memories.
never going to lose.
Memories are priceless.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, work-life balance. How do you manage that? You seem to be always running. And is there anything that you like to do outside of TCGs to kind of refresh your palate?
I mean, Flesh and Blood and Legendary Studios is pretty much my entire life, from the moment I wake up to when I go to bed at night. I guess I'm thankful that we have these smartphones these days, so I can do a lot of things on the run, right? Non-stop emails, and we use Slack, so all of our internal comms run through that, and I'm able to just like sort of keep on the pulse and keep things moving forward no matter where I am. So that's relevant because I got an 11-year-old daughter, and that means like she loves playing tennis, so I can be with her, courtside while she's playing tennis and still sort of doing things on the go, and so like. That is pretty much my family and Flesh and Blood and Legendary Studios and all the people at LSS. That is my life. If I had to answer, like, is there something that I really kind of enjoy doing outside of TCGs? Is I do like gardening.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Like we have a beautiful garden at our home,
Nice.
and I find that to be very relaxing.
Nice.
Horticulture is fun.
Yeah, just actually getting soil on your hands and being connected to nature, I find it to be very soothing and very tranquil and a way to rest my mind. I guess it's a shared family love,
Awesome.
but my daughter's very much into stage productions and performing
Cool.
arts, so as a
We couldn't
family
tell.
we enjoy
Oh
things.
my gosh,
right?
her
Like yesterday,
cosplay.
the cosplay yesterday.
Wow. She nailed it. You guys are in trouble if she decides to do cosplay.
Yeah, it was
Let me just tell you that.
It was pretty good. So as a family, we enjoy things like theater and stage productions and stuff
Cool.
like that,
Pick
like
up the
opera,
tag of 10
That's
cards.
fantastic.
opera, ballet, all of that
Seconds.
sort of performing arts stuff. And yeah, whenever we can, we go and check that out.
Nice. So, this is one of those things where, like, we just feel like we're tiny people that are nobody, right? But we've met you a bunch, and we feel like you're family. And, you know, when it came to having you on the channel, I was nervous. I was like, this is like a make or break moment. Like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, and so I literally created a group called the Knights of the Gob Table
Okay.
to run questions
Like it.
past to help, like, ease my worries, right? And so I created this group of people, and they all helped me out. And a few of them had some questions, so we're just going to let them
Sounds good.
just get some quick questions from them. So Anna, she's Anna Border. She does crafts for Flesh and Blood on Twitter, and she said, "What region of Wraith that we have not explored yet are you most excited for the characters and lore for us to see?"
Ooh, I hope you
Pick
What,
up
what do
the
we have
tag
left?
of
We've
9
got,
cards.
you know,
Mysteria,
Mysteria, Savage
Yeah.
Lands. I mean, you could argue that the pits hasn't been fully explored. It's been
True.
like touched around the edges.
True.
because the pits and the metrics have multiple different levels and different regions that we have to explore.
Yeah, the pits is not just like one hole, it's a hole and then all these
Right.
cabins and canals, underground canals that literally span all of Wraith. And that's why like the spider web is the symbol of the pits, because like literally their web of all these underground canals spans the entire, you know, landmass like a web. So there's definitely some interesting stuff to explore there as we start to go further out from that primary hole in the ground. But I think, I mean, all 8 of the regions are near and dear to me. We have a very specific plan on how we're going to get around those last, you know, 3 that we haven't. I would even say Demonastery to a certain extent.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
though
yeah.
we've had Monarch and we've had Dust Till Dawn, we've never really been inside the Demonastery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been the Monastery out, kind of like fighting in the plains of Solana more
So
than
we gonna
anything.
when we do that, are we gonna be on a blimp to do that one? Is that how we're gonna do
Well,
that
I don't wanna
event?
go
That
inside,
we're on
mate.
release?
Be careful in that place, but yeah, look, I think
7 cards.
I think yeah, as we sort of skirted around the region so far, other than Metrics, which was in Bright Lights, we were like all in on Metrics, right? It's like that's all that their product was about. So we've kind of like dug a bit deeper into the makeup of Metrics. The other regions, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
Cool.
Like even with Tales of Aria, for example, we just kind of gave a very broad stroke overview of the structure of this place. And you got Isenloft, you got Vaulthaven, you got Candlehold, but we never really went deep inside what any of those 3 places were. And there's something that we want to do in the future is actually like start going deeper inside these places so that you can understand more about the structure of their society, you know, their motivations, their like the subcultures of these regions and things like that. More of the specific stories for these places. You know, the same, like I said, with the monastery, actually going inside the monastery. I think even Solana, there's still, you know, we've only looked at it at a high level. And the story is, you know, obviously the War of the Monarch story arc is very much centered around Solana. There's a lot more that we need to express around the makeup of Solana, you know, their history, some of the magisters and how they came to be in that position and things like that. You know, we're really excited about the storytelling that we have, and you know, Robbie and I, we spent many years mapping out what the story arc will be. You know, in that period when the game was being, you know, created itself between 2012 and around 17, and then sort of 17, 18 is when we got ready to launch the game. So we know where the story is going. And yeah, recently we've hired a full-time in-house writer, so you'll start to see more lore content and storytelling, books, things like that
So
coming
cool.
through.
Book's coming soon, guys. You heard it.
Book is coming soon. Book is coming soon. We're working on it. I'm fairly confident that we're going to get that second book out this year.
Wow,
exciting.
cool.
Yeah. Don't hold me to it, but I'm fairly confident it's
There's a
coming this
date
year.
in the future.
Yeah,
Okay, a date in the
I'm
future.
pretty sure it's coming this year.
I am super excited to explore the library,
Yeah, exactly.
which is only accessible to residents of Solana.
Yeah. I don't know, it's too much of a hard question, Hank. Like, I don't want to dodge the question. But
Anna, come on.
We have a great love for all 8 of the regions, and they all have like really compelling stories behind them that I just kind of we want to share them all with the world and put all of our heart and soul into them. It's not about kind of having a favorite one, so it's going to get special treatment. They all have their own unique identities and backstories, and we just really look forward to telling all of them over time, to be honest.
We're excited about it. Every time you open up a new section and a new little piece, we're just like. So Theo has a question about PvE, and I'm very interested in PvE. There's a lot going on for that one. But is it going to be an autopiloted type situation, or are we going to have, like in D&D, where there's like one person who kind of runs it? What are we looking at here? Can you answer that?
Well, I would hope that we can offer both, to be honest.
Cool.
Yeah, I think having variety of playing the game how you most want to is a great outcome.
That's fantastic. Heck yeah.
I'm about it.
Wow.
Maybe not within the same product, but
still,
like over time, it's like it actually has some flexibility to how you
giving us the option. That's amazing.
Run your campaigns. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
All right, so you may know Rachel. She's like one of few tailors.
Yeah.
She kind of thinks she's a big deal. Yeah. Well, she has a question about cosplay. She wants to know if you could cosplay anything, what would you cosplay?
Jeez, that's a hard one. You put me on the spot here.
You will have a total of 30 minutes to register your pool.
Your daughter already told us a cosplay you were doing.
What was that?
She told us you were going to do The Rock. Yeah. She said you were going to be The Rock. You were going to walk around and sit down on stage.
It's actually a true story. Yeah, it is true. That is. She asked me that question. Yeah. And I said The Rock because I could just like plottle out on stage.
Do you hear all the Rock chants right now?
And then just sit there and people will make, I hope, laugh, and then I can just like kind of roll off stage. So yeah, The Rock, definitely 100%.
You have 100 people right now chanting Rock.
Yeah, Rock. Yeah, for real. Yeah.
My thought process is if you didn't tell anyone and you just showed up with it already on, and you just walked around, make sure you change your shoes. We all know
you can't wear the white slacks. Yeah.
And then spend a whole day as The Rock and nobody will know who you are.
Exactly. Yeah, it's got so much upside, and then it's not going to bias the judges or whatever because they won't know it's me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so 100% The Rock.
So UPF as a format.
Anthony asked this question.
Oh, Anthony, I'm sorry. Anthony asked this question. UPF as a format is supposed to be like a fun, happy-go-lucky, like sit down with a group of friends and just demolish each other.
Yep.
But we've seen now that UPF is starting to get like prizes at events. Do you think that kind of bites into the part of UPF that's supposed to be a fun, loving, happy-go-lucky format, or do you think it helps build it?
Well, I think it creates a little bit of incentive for people who maybe haven't tried UPF to jump in and give it a go.
Right.
Like obviously when you're playing UPF at home, like I would hope that people aren't too cutthroat and it's just a, fun, free flowing.
If I'm playing Amy, my goal is to smash her into the ground.
I don't play UPF.
Oh, I can see why. But you can see. You can see with our support for the local game stores with the social play kits like the Melody Kit and the Brevang Kit comes out soon. They're very much crafted towards having low stakes. Come and just play for fun, and I think it's at that widespread level where that kind of culture of social play needs to be not cutthroat and needs to be we're coming here to have a good time. I think when you get up to sort of these big calling Pro Tour World Championship type, UPF side events like the feature side event, like having a little bit of reward on the line like the gold foil.
Yeah.
And I think it's always silver palms for UPF. So it's not like you can win a crown of province.
Right.
It's still like
you're winning something to play in UPF.
In UPF, exactly. So we are deliberate about that. But I think by having something like a silver palms gold foil on the line, it does attract a few more people to give it a try.
Yeah.
And some people out there who play UPF probably enjoy the challenge of like, normally I play for fun. What happens if I actually like try and optimize my deck? And I mean, so far at Pro Tour Baltimore and San Jose, I played in the UPF main event at both of them, and the prizes were on the line, and it was somewhat competitive, but it was still fun.
Yeah,
it was still so much fun. Like it was crazy fun.
Yeah. If you guys have probably seen the short. I mean, it was just such a beautiful moment when John sat down with the Rudy deck and everybody was just just having a great time. We got a lot of flack, like, oh, he knows the cards. It's like, that's not what it's about. UPF is about having fun. Like, James White is here enjoying this. Everybody's enjoying this experience. Like, keep your comments to yourself and let us enjoy it.
I mean, yeah, like the gym keeper isn't even legal in UPF.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it's like just
Exactly.
wacky stuff like that going on, you know. Although it's a serious event, it's like there's all these weird things going on. So yeah, like I think that having the Gold 4 at the marquee events is good, and then at things like the in-store play, having these social play kits with more, you know, fun pricing is sort of where we see it being.
Cool.
Yeah.
This last one, we asked for questions, but Chris Smithel, being Smithel, hi, thank you for Dory.
You're welcome.
That's all he wanted. All right, so next we just decided to end this interview. It would be fun to just have some off-the-wall questions,
Okay.
just some quick questions and answers, and we'll see what happens.
Let's run it.
All right, must see or do in New Zealand? Must see. Which one is it?
Well, Queenstown. The reason we brought everyone to Queenstown is
So
because,
beautiful.
you know, as I said, we were going to show you folks the best that New Zealand has to offer. Well, here we are. That's why we're in Queenstown. Get up the gondola.
Yeah.
Look at that
So
view.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
called the
gosh.
Remarkables Ranges for a
Wow.
reason, because that view is remarkable. So yeah, that's the must do in New Zealand.
It was
Queenstown,
amazing.
up the gondola.
Gotcha.
Yep.
What is the best New Zealand drink, like specific to New
Oh,
Zealand?
easy, flat white.
Flat white.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That may come up in the future.
Best pie filling.
Well, I'm vegetarian, so this is like,
We were told to ask you this on purpose.
yeah, like probably mince and cheese. All the Kiwis can pile on. I don't know. Whoever eats meat pies out there can answer
Yeah,
it.
oh my god. So speaking of like
Steak
basically
and cheese, probably steak and cheese.
Steak and cheese
I
is
know,
good,
I've
yeah.
got lots of meat eating friends who are they're always
Steak
in on
and
the steak and
cheese.
cheese
So
or
we-
steak and mushroom.
Yeah, we didn't have a bunch of money, so like instead of like doing a bunch, we ate a bunch, right?
Yeah, we
and
tried
I
everything.
have come to love pies. I've come to learn a lot about the culture. And speaking of the flat white and pavlova, are those Aussie or Kiwi?
Hell no, that damn straight that Kiwi. Aussies always trying to like steal our thunder. Can't come up with anything good themselves. It's like, oh, what's New Zealand up to? Oh, yep, we'll have that one. 100% New Zealand.
So just to clarify, Flesh and Blood Legendary Studios, that is New Zealand, not Aussie, right?
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
I'll
just
probably
making
try
sure.
and come and like nick that one soon
Okay.
as well. But yeah, bloody Aussies. Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs.
Dogs.
100%.
There we go.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I got a big one. Got a 60 kg on myself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What you got?
A Marama sheepdog.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is
Looks
fantastic.
like Hank, got a big old beard.
Fantastic. Probably one of the most important questions you're ever going to answer. Elves or goblins?
I think it's gonna be gobos, eh?
All right. Fantastic. Wow, James, thank you so much for this. It's been honestly an honor. You and your family honestly feel like family. You've given us so much joy throughout, Flesh and Blood, and we just are so grateful. And oh, wait a second. There was a challenge put out that I don't think you've responded to.
Oh my.
John, the Rudy Gem Keeper, says that there was a little mix-up during your match, and he wants a rematch.
Bring it.
Oh,
Just
bring it! Wow, you've heard it here first, John. Bring it.
Bring it.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you.
We are so honored. Thank you so much, dude.
That was
Thank you
awesome.
so much. Oh man.
That was awesome.